All right. So we are here for the Angel Masterclass, and I have, as I was telling Susan pre-recording, I have a bunch of notes here, but they read more like a script to try and keep me focused, because I have a lot here. So I want to make sure that we get through it and it makes sense, because, oh boy, prepare yourself for some information overload, because yeah, your girl is not a fan of brevity when it comes to angels, apparently. And also, as I mentioned to Susan and Jules, I believe is here as well, this is like the tip of the iceberg. Okay, so this isn't even all of it. But I wanted to make sure that, as much as there is going to be information overload for this, that it wasn't like, and plus for time and all that, I don't want us to be here for 4 hours, me going through all of the stuff. So now I will start with a quick disclaimer here, though, because I understand that angels are often associated with specific belief systems and religious systems, as you'll see here in my very detailed notes. So I do want to put a disclaimer here, though, that some of my beliefs, because I'm an angelic witch, and so some of my beliefs are not going to be in alignment with, the common sort of quote unquote religious stuff that we've been kind of taught and what have you. So a lot of my stuff kind of differs from the quote unquote norm. I'm not here to change anyone's mind. Okay, you believe what you want to believe, take what resonates, leave the rest. Okay, I'm not here to push anything on you. This is just information that I'm sharing with you. Take it or leave it. That's, I'm not here to change anyone's minds or their belief systems around these entities. So I just wanted to put that quick disclaimer there, and we will get started. I'll also say, for those who are here live, if you have any questions, if you're not already, come off mute or leave them in the chat, and I will do my best to answer your questions. Okay. All right, so let's get started. So what is an angel? What are they? Okay, so we have angels are genderless celestial beings of pure consciousness that, according to various ancient religious texts, were created by God. However, there are other schools of belief that believe angels are alien in origin, while others say they're interdimensional beings. And that's the school that's my school belief, that they are interdimensional beings. In any case, angels are immortal beings that are unlimited by time and space. They live in and radiate blissful energy. Also, as we go forward, I just want to note that, because I mentioned right out the gate, that angels are genderless. So you'll notice that I'll use he, she pronouns when talking about different angels. And although they are genderless, they do have masculine and feminine qualities or energies. So that's why I will be using those pronouns. And some of those pronouns too, again, going back to the disclaimer, are maybe a little different than what you may have been taught, because I noticed that while going, when doing like research, like reading about angels and what we've been taught through the Bible or Kabbalah, that angels are generally referred to with the he, his, type of pronouns. And so some of the angels I will be speaking on, I will be using she, and you might think, well, but I was taught that they were male, right? They're genderless. It doesn't matter. Okay. So all right, so what's in a name? So the word angel is derived from the Greek angelos, which means messenger. The word archangel is derived from the Greek archai, meaning principal, chief, or most important. And angelos, and so you have archai and angelos to form principal or chief or most important messenger. Most of the archangels' names end with the suffix L, so EL, which translates as in God or of God or like God. So an example would be Michael, ends with EL, means he who is like God, or Gabriel means the strength of God. Okay. Some archangel names signify the unique type of work they do. So you have Archangel Raphael, which means God heals, or Azrael means God helps. The names of the angels, however, do vary. So for example, Reguel is also known as Faniel, depending on the religious text. Okay. Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Luna. She just pooped in her litter box. And I'm stuck with a closed door. Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you. Ready, cat. Okay.
Coming up.
You're a jerk. Okay. So, did you have any questions or anything just based off of that so far? Because like I said, I'm going to try my best to keep this going, but if you have questions, let me know. No. Okay. Oh, well, I will mention very quickly too, that when it comes to these names that we've been given, so, through, prophets and what have you, in my interaction with angels and archangels, they will come through sometimes more as this is the name you'll recognize me as, rather than like their actual name. Sorry, I thought I heard a meow. Okay. So yeah, not to say that Archangel Michael's name isn't Michael, but that's the name you'll recognize. So like I said, some angel names will differ, but they'll refer to the same angel. So I might call on Archangel Michael because that's who I understand that specific being to be, but that's not necessarily their name. Okay. Okay. Physical appearance. Many religious myths and legends and art forms describe and depict angels as having human-like form with wings, halo. So like what I have here with this background, because I think it's super cute. Oh, what? Hi, Liz. I couldn't hear anything, so I am on the conference call listening. Okay. Okay. Well, hopefully you can hear this then. Okay. And just to let you know, Jules, there will be a replay of this that I'll put up in the group, and there will be, it's quite detailed, highlights. So I'll have a PDF that will also go up in the group. So if you missed anything, you're like, oh no, it's okay. I got you. Okay. Okay, so like I was saying, so angels have been depicted as being human in form with wings, halo, and long hair, and wearing flowing robes, and in some cases having many faces or appearing as fiery wheels covered in eyes. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so truly, an angel's vibrational frequency is too high and light to have a physical form. They are pure spirit / subtle energy. So even when you have, and I'll get into this later, but just a quick little side note here, at least I'm going to try my best not to tangent too much, but I do want to be clear here that angels will appear as human when they kind of need to, like it's more of a filter, if you will, because otherwise we can't, because of their pure energy, we can't really stand that level of energy. It just kind of blows out our system. So they will appear through a filter in a human-like form. So that can be in in a dream, or they might, in life-saving circumstances, they might show up in a physical form to save you or what have you. But it's really more of a filter. So that might be also why these religious myths, legends, and art forms depict them as being human, because that's the filter they're showing themselves as. But truly, they have no actual form. They're just pure energy. So I like the way Hazel Raven's theory of why angels have been described and depicted the way they have for so long in her book, The Angel Bible. So this is a quote. The human aura is depicted as having several layers, but on closer inspection, it is made up of billions of separate lines of energy, each radiating outward and upward from the central, quote, spiritual spine, and giving the appearance of feathers. The angelic energy field would appear to the human mystic as enormous, and the human mind may try to clothe the heavenly vision in human form. Okay, so the number of angels. According to ancient sacred Kabbalistic doctrine, there are 72 angels known as the, pardon me for trying to pronounce this, Shem Hem Thorai, and 9, quote, orders or choirs or branches, which make up the hierarchy of angels. Now, for the sake of time and me trying to struggle through the pronunciation, I will not be pronouncing these 72 angels here. If you do want to know what they are, I can certainly list them in the group, but for now, I will save us all the trouble of me trying to get through the 72 angels. So there is a quote here as well. So again, pardon me for trying to pronounce these things. So in regards to the Kabbalistic doctrine, here's a quote. It is an old Kabbalistic doctrine that all the universe is permeated with the virtues and power of the divine names, which represent the various attributes of the infinite being. The supreme expansion of the divine name is called Shem Hem Foresh, or Foray. The names of the 72 angels of the Kabbalah connect with the power of the divine name, as their names are devised from his through a series of mathematical and alphabetical permutations exercised by the ancient Kabbalists. Okay. All the letters comprising the 72-fold name, and thus the name of the 72 angels, are derived from the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verses 19 through 21. Each of the 3 verses contains exactly 72 letters. And when one letter is taken from each verse in the Kabbalistic pattern, they form 72 3-letter names that are unique to each angel. So you'll see why I was not currently willing to go through each one of those names and what they do. So, not to poo-poo the ancient Kabbalists, but in my experience, there are far more than 72 angels. So the prophet Daniel had a vision in which 100 million angels appeared. The prophet Enoch saw angels innumerable. The Zohar says 600 million angels were created on the 2nd day of creation, and that additional angels were created on other occasions. And Albert the Great wrote that there were 4 billion angels, that each of the 9 orders, choirs, or branches of angels had 66,666 legions, and each of these had 6,666 angels. So, a lot of angels.
On 6s.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to take a quick sip of water here. Now, personally, I'm with Enoch. I think they're innumerable, but like I've never been given, a number. They're just There's a bunch of them, and you'll see why, because we are about to get into the hierarchy of angels. Okay. So there are a few hierarchies of angels created by different religions. So that includes the Kabbalah as well, has their own hierarchy, which I will not get into here, but if you want, I can share that information in some other format, some other time. So we have, so in different religions, but there is one in particular that is established in the mainstream Western culture. So Pseudo-Dionysus, and we call him Pseudo because it's believed that the true author used the name Dionysus as a pseudonym, and that we don't know the true name of the author. So he may have been a Christian philosopher of the 5th century CE, but also may have been a Syrian monk, or Peter Fullo, or the Fuller, who was the patriarch of Antioch between 471 to 488. But so the Pseudo-Dionysus, whoever he or she or they may be, put forth an angelic hierarchy in his book, The Celestial Hierarchy. So angels are organized into these 9 choirs, orders, branches, so that angels can be classified and ranked. Okay, so these angels are, starting with the highest order, the seraphim. These are the highest ranks of angels and are the angels closest to God in this hierarchy. Okay, so they fly endlessly around the celestial throne, singing "Holy, holy, holy." They are said to have 4 faces and 6 wings, although in the 3rd book of Enoch, it said that they have 16 heads, 4 facing each cardinal direction. They're also called the burning ones, as they are pure light, as I had mentioned. So this light consists of flames of divine healing energy. Their light is so strong that humans cannot exist in their presence, and even fellow angels cannot look at them because their divine flaming light is so powerful. I'm not sure I believe in that last one personally, but I for sure believe that we cannot be really, humans cannot be in their presence because it's just a little too powerful, too high up, too powerful for us. Okay, next we have the cherubim. So these ones are often depicted as, those little, like, especially with it being close to Valentine's Day. So when we think of the cherubim, we usually think of like Cupid, a little flying baby, right? With a halo and the, what are those called? The arrows, right? But they are actually, in this hierarchy, they are God's record keepers and reflect his wisdom and divine intelligence. They also act as guardians when required, guarding the Garden of Eden. So they guard the Garden of Eden after Adam and Eve were cast out. They are said to live in fire and are frequently described as being fire-like. So again, with that overwhelming, powerful light energy. The thrones, deliver divine justice and hold up God and remain forever in his presence. No, I got a burp. They are often depicted as great fiery wheels with 4 wings covered in eyes. The dominions are the middle level executives responsible for regulating the duties of the lower ranks of angels. So these are middle management. These are the angels we imagine and are often depicted in art that appear as beautiful, flawless humans with 2 wings, the halo and all that jazz. Virtues govern the order of the physical universe and are responsible for making miracles occur. So they're responsible for, like I said, the order of the physical universe, but they're also able to sort of bend that when necessary in order to create these miracles. Okay. The powers. So the powers. They ensure the cosmos remain in order and are keepers of the Akashic records. They are also warrior angels that protect all roads to heaven and protect humans from demons and those lower entities. The principalities, also known as princes, guide and assist leaders, rulers, and nations, and supervise the rise and fall of nations. They also oversee the work of the guardian angels. They are educators and guardians. And now we get to the archangels, the ones that we're most familiar with in this hierarchy. So they are the chief messengers of God, or quote, most important, and leaders of the angels, which appear among humans, and they serve God directly. They are overseers of humankind. Each archangel has a specialty representing an aspect of God. Depending on the source, the number of archangels and their names varies. So in Pseudo-Dionysius's hierarchy, however, these are the 7 archangels named. So we have Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, Chamuel, Zadkiel, and Jophiel. Okay. And then we have just our angels. So we have angels are God's messengers and are given various tasks. So these are, I guess you could call that, like when we were speaking of angels, of just like not the arc, but just the angel, right? In this hierarchy, they're one of the lower ones, but I mean, they multitask. So as you'll see here, so we have God's messengers and are given various tasks. One of their main tasks is to help individual people in the world. Guardian angels belong to the choir of angels. So that's that on the celestial hierarchy, but I do also want to get more into the guardian, because there are other ones that are not necessarily named in this, but they are the guardian and the guiding angels are part of the angel hierarchy, right? So I do want to get into that. So before I do, though, is there any questions? Because I know I'm going really quick. So I just want to, Susan?
Could you just list the archangels again? I want to make sure I got the complete list for that.
Yep. And like I said, technically this isn't the complete list, but these are the ones.
I mean, the tier list, the biggies.
Yeah, but these are the ones that I personally work with as well. So they are Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, Chamuel, Zadkiel, and Jophiel.
That's right, Miss Zadkiel. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I think I have those in. That will be part of the PDF in the notes too. Okay. I think I have that in there. So. Okay. Okay. All right. So guardian and guiding angels. It's said that we all have one guardian angel, but in my personal contact with angels, I've experienced up to 3 guardian angels to a single person. So every person has at least one guardian angel that is assigned to them upon their first incarnation as a human, and they travel with us throughout every incarnation. A guardian angel's task is to protect, guide, and assist us, as well as comfort us in our hour of need. Our guardian angels can never override our free will, though. Most people's first conscious contact with the angelic realm is through their guardian angel. We all have also we have guiding angels who work with us and our guardian angels. So unlike guardian angels, guiding angels change as we evolve spiritually and learn different spiritual lessons. So these are the, like, along with the spirit guides, right? They kind of, some spirit guides are kind of with us from beginning to end, and some just kind of come and go as needed. And that's the same with these guiding angels. So some people have several guiding angels working with them. That could be at one time, or just kind of throughout a lifetime, or throughout their their entire incarnations, however many there are. So that there. Okay. Now this one, again, back to the disclaimer that some people have a different opinion or belief system around this particular topic of earth angels. Again, I'm not here to change anyone's mind. This is just my own thing, and take what resonates and leave the rest. All right. So at our core, we are all spiritual beings of light. However, there are certain souls that are highly spiritually evolved and have spent a great deal of time in the higher spiritual dimensions of love and light. When they lower their vibration enough to incarnate on Earth as physical beings, they become what archangels call earth angels. Okay. So to clarify, earth angels are not incarnated celestial angels, but they share many character traits with celestial angels. So celestial angels are fully enlightened, perfect interdimensional beings of pure consciousness, whose main role is to maintain the workings, laws, and balancing of the cosmos, along with their individual responsibilities. Celestial angels vibrate at a frequency far above any other spiritual being of light, including the most spiritually evolved soul. So again, not here to change anyone's mind. Take what resonates, leave the rest. So take Jesus and Buddha, for example. They are highly spiritually evolved souls that earn the title of Ascended Master, which is they are highly evolved souls who guide the spiritual evolution of the earth, but they are not celestial angels. In angel lore, only 2 humans who are prophets of God were, quote, pious enough to be rewarded with ascension into the archangel realm and be turned into angels. Okay, or said to be turned into angels by God. So the prophet Enoch, who became the archangel Metatron, and the prophet Elijah, who became Sandalphon. So only 2 in angel lore, okay? Notice neither of these angelic names end with the suffix el, but instead on, on, signifying their origins as human prophets. So earth angels, although highly spiritually evolved, are not perfect. They make mistakes, they experience challenges, and even feel disconnected at times. Okay.
So are you saying, excuse me, are you saying Jesus and Buddha are earth angels from your perspective? Or is that a can of worms we don't need to go into?
Yeah, I mean, well, they're ascended masters, so you could consider them earth angels because they were so highly spiritually evolved, but they are, an earth angel is a separate being from a celestial angel, is really what we're getting at. And then you have those ascended masters. So with an earth angel, they are highly spiritually evolved. With an ascended master, they are that and then some. Like they are like the utmost, spiritually evolved as far as a non-celestial angel entity can be.
So as an earth angel, does it have a physical corporal body, or is it still an energy body?
Yeah, so they can, like I said, with angels, their vibration is too high to incarnate, but an earth angel, because technically, because they are not of that celestial being, they are kind of like us, right? Like they have like just like a soul, right? And they're but they have, because they are so spiritually evolved, they have a higher vibration, but they're still able to kind of lower it enough to be able to physically incarnate, whereas a celestial angel can't. Their human body would just explode. Like that's just too much for,
Yeah.
it's too hot to handle. Okay.
Thank you.
So like I said, they are not perfect. They can feel disconnected at times. You know, it's the same with some star seeds, where they feel like they miss home. They can feel homesick, like being on Earth, but they feel homesick. And it's the same for an earth angel, where they feel like they're homesick for heaven, or whatever your word is for that realm, the angelic realm, right? So that's where they can kind of feel that kind of like homesick or disconnected, or they can even experience the dark night of the soul, because like I said, they are highly spiritually evolved, but they are not celestial angels, and they are not perfect, and they are not all-knowing and entirely enlightened like a celestial angel. They may be highly spiritually evolved, but they still have some evolving to do, because they are not, quote, ascended masters, right? Okay. So earth angels are called on, where am I? Earth angels are called on a soul level to be and share the light of higher spiritual realms on earth. They come with a mission to serve humanity, and assist souls in the awakening and ascension process. They have a clear and strong sense of purpose and freely spread love, kindness, compassion, and guidance. They have a grace that inspires people and uplifts their energy and spirit effortlessly. So again, with the angels, their responsibilities are really about keeping the cosmos going and in balance, and the laws and all of that. And an earth angel is more on a mission to serve humanity, and help others to awaken in their ascension process. So there's that little bit of difference there. Okay. Let me just see. Is there any questions there? No. Okay. Bring this back up. Now here's where it's going to be a lot. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the archangels of the 4 directions, but we're going to start with the watchtowers, because some people get them mixed up. And I noticed in the group, I believe it was Tamika, who I thought for sure was going to be here, but she must have gotten busy. So, but she had mentioned about, when I asked what topics do you want me to cover, she mentioned the watchtowers, and the watchtowers are often, and she might have meant it in this context, but they are often mixed up with simply the 4 directions, the 4 cardinal directions. So I wanted to make sure that there was a clarity between the two. And there's some really detailed stuff here, so that you may or may not be interested in, but for those who are, this is for you. And for those who are not, maybe go get a glass of water or something for a few minutes. I don't Okay. Okay, so the watchtowers are actually a part of the Enochian system and tradition of magic. So this system was created by Dr. John Dee and his scryer, Edward Kelly, between the years 1581 and 1587. Dr. John Dee was an influential man in Elizabethan England. He was an astrologer, magician, mathematician, philosopher, and alchemist, and owned the largest library in England at the time. He's most remembered, though, for his recorded experiences with angels. Slight side note, funny enough, he didn't actually do anything with this information. It was actually someone else that came along quite a few years later and actually put this work into like a magical type of working. Okay, so And there's a whole bunch more information too on Dr. John Dee and Edward Kelly. But again, for the sake of time, I didn't really feel like it was necessary to share it here. If you want to know more, though, do let me know, and I will share it in some other context, some other time. Okay. So on March 26th, 1582, the Enochian angels who live in the Watchtowers and Aetherius, yes, is Aetherius and the far reaches of the universe began communicating the Enochian language, also known as the language of angels, to Dee and Kelly. The prophet Enoch, who later ascended to become the angel Metatron, was taught this language when he became an angel, which is why it is called Enochian. So the great angel Arve dictated the letters of the 4 Watchtower tablets to Dee and Kelly, then explained what they meant. These letters make up the Enochian alphabet. It contains 21 hieroglyphic letters, which are written from right to left. Other angels that spoke to Dee and Kelly include Madame, Archangels Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel, and an angel called Nelvage, who passed on important information about angelic hierarchies. Okay, I actually wanted to bring up a whiteboard. So who can share? Okay, can you see that? The whiteboard?
See the whiteboard, yes, if you're on
You
it.
can see it? Is it small or can you see it okay?
Full screen, yeah.
Okay. So just to kind of give you an idea about what I'm going to explain here, you kind of, at least I did. I'm very visual. And so in order for me to really understand something.
Okay, I'll go back to my class. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I'm a very visual learner, so it helps me to understand when I can actually see the thing. And so when I'm explaining this, I thought it'd be easier to show you. Okay, as I go through the information here. Okay. Oh, and something I didn't think to do was add this to the PDF. So I might add these as a picture or something in the group so that you can see them there as well. Okay. So in the Enochian system, there are angels of the 4 directions, which are symbolized by watchtowers. These watchtowers are large grid-like tables containing letters that can be arranged to form the names of different angels. Each watchtower is governed by 6, quote, elders, which relate to the 24 angels, known as elders, that are said to sit upon thrones that circle the throne of God, mentioned in the Revelation of St. John the Divine. Okay, so this will be a quote that I'm sharing here from Gerald and Betty Schuler from the Llewellyn Encyclopedia. So this is a quote. A tablet of union unites the 4 watchtowers and each of the 4 watchtower tablets. The tablet of union contains squares. Each watchtower tablet consists of 13 rows and 12 columns, making a total of 156 squares. Each square is a subplane of the magical universe and holds 1 or more letters of the angelic alphabet. Enochian magic teaches that divinity expresses itself downward from the spiritual world into the material world of time, space, and form. This descent results in a graduated series of planes and subplanes until the lowest expression is reached, the physical world in which we live. These planes are called the cosmic planes of manifestation. They are invisible to the 5 physical senses of sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch, but are real nonetheless. They consist of 5 main planes. These cosmic planes contain the 4 great watchtowers of Enochian magic. Okay. And I'll get to what those watchtowers are in just a minute. Okay. So just to have given you an idea of what those look like. So now we have the northern watchtower is the watchtower of Earth. It creates and sustains our physical world, but is not of the physical plane. The watchtower of Earth is located on the etheric plane. And some of these planes you guys might recognize if you're familiar with like the spiritual bodies, right? So it's all along those lines. The eastern watchtower is the watchtower of air. This watchtower pours thoughts and ideas into our physical world. The watchtower of air is located on the mental plane. The southern watchtower is the watchtower of fire. It causes the constant change of our physical world. It is a region of strong creative and destructive forces that give rise to the ultimate growth of all living things. The watchtower of fire is located on the causal plane. And finally, the western watchtower is the watchtower of water. This watchtower reflects images into our physical world. It is a region of strong creative life forces that gives rise to all living things, but not life itself. The watchtower of water is located on the astral plane. Okay. Let's take a sip of water. Check something real quick. No, okay. Okay. So now, what people typically will refer to as the Watchtower Archangels, or simply what I refer to them as the Archangels of the 4 directions, are Archangel Uriel, who guards the north, Archangel Raphael, who guards the east, Archangel Michael, who guards the south, and Archangel Gabriel, who guards the west. So, as I mentioned earlier, as an angelic witch who does not practice the Enochian system of magic or the teachings of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, and this is the system I was speaking of where Dr. John Dee did not actually use the information he was given. The person who created the founder, that's what I was looking for, the founder of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn did, and this is where it came from. So, and it incorporates the Enochian magic. So I don't follow either of these, the Enochian system or the Hermetic system of the Golden Dawn. So I call on these 4 archangels for protection, as well as invoking the elements and creating a sacred circle when I'm working a spell or practicing angel therapy on myself or a client. Okay. So next we have the concepts of the 7 rays or the 7 angel rays. This again is the one that has a whole lot of background to it. So before we do that, I'll take a sip of water, and if you have any questions or comments, go ahead. Okay. So there's a whole bunch of background here that you may not care about. And if you don't, like I said, maybe go grab a snack. And for those who are interested in this stuff, like I am, I think it's fascinating, so I include it. I love, like, any of my courses that I either teach on Udemy or if I'm teaching classes, I really like to get into like the background of stuff. I don't like taking things just at face value. To say, oh, okay, well, these are the angels of the 7 rays. Okay, but where did that concept come from? How do we even know about this, right? And so I like to really dig into that stuff. So for people who are like me that really want to know, where did this even come from? This is kind of for you. Like I said, if you're not interested in this stuff, maybe grab a snack or go get a drink or something. No, what was this? Can you repeat the angels that guard the 4 corners? Yeah, sure. And like I said, if you're in the group, which I believe you are, I will have that in the notes on the PDF too, just so you know, just so you have that. Okay, so before we get to the 7 rays, so we have Archangel Uriel, who guards the north, Archangel Raphael, who guards the east, Archangel Michael, who guards the south, and Archangel Gabriel, who guards the west. Okay. Okay, so the concept of the 7 rays. Like I said, this one's pretty thorough, so I'll try to get through it as quickly as I can. Well, hopefully it's still making sense. Okay. So the concept of the 7 rays has appeared in several religious and esoteric philosophies since at least the 6th century BCE, all the way, all that way back. Okay, but all the way into modern day. So there's been mention of it since the 6th century BCE, but it's, it's kind of changed over time, or there are different schools of thought around it that have changed over time. Again, take what resonates, leave the rest. Okay, so here are some examples, and there's quite a few. So in ancient Greek mythology, Zeus takes the bull form known as Taurus in order to win Europa? Sorry. It's said that the face of Taurus, quote, gleams with 7 rays of fire. The Chaldean oracles of the 2nd century AD feature the 7 rays as purifying agents of Helios. In the 4th century, Emperor Julian Saturnalia, I believe, composed his hymn to the Mother of the Gods, in which he spoke of, quote, unspeakable mysteries hidden from the crowd, such as Julian the Chaldean prophesied concerning the god of the 7 rays. Okay. He said, we got lots. Okay, so in Greek Gnostic magic of the same era, Gnostic amulets made of colored gemstones were often engraved with a snake with a lion's head, from which emanated either 12 or 7 rays. The 12 rays represented the zodiac, and the 7 rays represented the planets. The Gnostic gems with Abraxas also featured the 7 rays. The Vishnu Purana, a post-Vedic scripture, describes how Vishnu, quote, entered into the 7 solar rays, which dilate into 7 suns. In early Christian iconography, the dove of the Holy Ghost is often shown with an emanation of 7 rays, as is the image of the Madonna, often in conjunction with a dove or doves. The monastery of St. Catherine on Mount Sinai shows the transfiguration of Christ in the apse mosaic with, quote, 7 rays of light shining from the luminous body of Christ over the apostles Peter, James, and John. In Theosophy, a religion that was established in 1875, the 7 rays are said to be 7 major types of light substance, or spirit, matter, or waves or particles, that compose the created universe. These are also believed to convey, quote, divine qualities. Okay. Helena Blavatsky, again, I'm not great with pronunciation, the co-founder of the Theosophical Society, stated in her first book of The Secret Doctrine that the 7 rays of Vishnu represented the same concept as the, quote, astral fluid or light of the Kabbalists, and that the 7 emanations of the lower 7 Sephiroth are the primeval 7 rays. In the second volume of The Secret Doctrine, Helena discusses the 7 nervous plexus of the body and the 7 rays they radiate. So the chakras, the 7 main chakras. Even my cat's trying to get away. She's like, shut up. So I don't want to hear this. I'm getting to the end. I'm not actually. Okay, so the chakras, right? So in the third volume of The Secret Doctrine, Helena described the 7 primeval rays as a group of celestial beings, also known as, quote, gods, angels, or powers. She stated that the symbolism was, quote, adopted later on by the Christian religion as the 7 angels of the presence. And for those who care, for those who don't, I'm sorry, but for those who care, the angels of the presence, also known as the angels of the face or Elohim, are a select group of angels who, according to an ancient Jewish religious work called the Book of Jubilees, or Lesser Genesis, were created on the first day. In Judaism, there are 12 angels of presence. My cat's distracting me, sorry. She's gonna jump up on this on this table, and she knows she's not supposed to. Okay, don't do it. Okay, where are we? Okay, so in the Christian religion, the numbers range from 7 to 70, so 70. But most, there she goes. I knew she was gonna do it. And there she falls. I knew. Excuse you, ma'am. Excuse you. Okay, come on up. If it'll make you hush. You might see my cat in just a second. Come on up. I got to get through these notes. Let's go. This is my kitty, Luna. Funny enough, her nickname is Lunafer. I wonder why. Okay.
She's beautiful.
She thinks so. She's a little princess. She likes to dress up. Okay, she even has her own Instagram. It's ridiculous. Okay. Okay, so in the Christian religion, the numbers range from 7 to 70, but most authorities think there are probably 12. So we're still talking about the angels of presence. Okay, so generally it's agreed that the angels of presence are made up of these 4 main archangels: Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel. The other archangels who make up the angels of presence varies. So the first book of Enoch lists Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel, but then also Reguel, Ramiel, and Seraquel. Seraquel? I think that's how you pronounce it. In Pseudo-Dionysius's book, The Celestial Hierarchy, he lists Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel, but also Jophiel, Chamuel, and Zadkiel. And okay, let's put it down. We put it down. Okay. Okay, and I will try my best to pronounce these. Others include Acatriel, Astanthius, Jeuel, Metatron, Phanuel / Reguel, Yephithia, Zegzegiel, Melchizedek, Sandalphon, and Sariel. Woof. Okay. So personally, the pseudo-Dionysus list of the archangels is what I personally associate with the 7 rays. Okay. So, okay. Okay. And so just to reiterate, pseudo-Dionysus's book lists Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, Jophiel, Chamuel, and Zadkiel. So those are the ones that I associate with the 7 rays.
Can you repeat that?
And so, like I said, too, if that's not, those aren't the ones that you associate with 7 rays, that's cool. Do you? Okay, so pseudo-Dionysus book lists Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, Jophiel, Chamuel, and Zadkiel.
Thank you.
Okay, so getting back to more of the 7 rays, but a little more modern. So in the mid to late 20th century, as the New Age movement gained in popularity, the concept and imagery of the 7 rays appeared in a variety of settings. So in esoteric astrology, the 7 rays are considered to be split into 3 groups. The first 2 rays represent will and wisdom, and the remaining 5 rays together form the group that represents activity. In a style of Reiki adapted by Carolyn E. Jackson, the student passes through a sequence of levels by mastering the, quote, key to each level. The key for the second level is known as the key of, quote, oneness, and is attained by passing through each of the 7 rays. Metaphysical philosopher Gurdjieff writes frequently of his 7 rays of creation. According to him, the 7 rays of creation are the 7 manifestations of energy in our universe. Some people believe that the colors of the 7 rays vibrate at different electromagnetic energy frequencies in the universe. Others see the rays that represent different ways that angels work in people's lives. And some see them as 7 planes of spiritual existence. Up or down? Come on. So personally, I agree with these last 3. Like I said, take what resonates, leave the rest. Okay. Is there any questions? I'm gonna keep going, but is there any questions before I do?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. In some writings on angel lore, these 7 archangels represent the 7 rays of spiritual enlightenment. So Michael, angel of power, protection, strength, and courage, is leader of the blue ray of protection, courage, and willpower. Jophiel, the angel of beauty, meaning beautiful thoughts, feelings, home, self, is leader of the yellow ray of wisdom. And well, the yellow ray of wisdom, enlightenment, and creativity. This ray is also perceived as being orange, like an orange yellow, or even a golden color. Chamuel, the angel of peaceful relationships, is the leader of the pink ray of unconditional love and compassion. Gabriel, the angel of revelation, is leader of the white ray of purity. Raphael, the angel of healing, is leader of the green ray of healing and truth. Uriel, the angel of knowledge, wisdom, and peace, is leader of the red ray of peace. This ray is also perceived as being ruby or deep red, moving through to deep purple with flecks of gold. For me, I perceive it as red with flecks of purple and gold. Zadkiel, the angel of freedom, mercy, and transformation / transmutation, is leader of the purple ray of freedom, forgiveness, and transformation / transmutation. This ray has also been called the violet ray or violet flame.
What was Gabriel again?
So Gabriel, angel of revelation, is the leader of the white ray of purity.
Okay.
Okay, and next we are the archangels of the chakras. So there are archangels that are associated with each of the 7 main chakras. So in this association, I want to be clear that they aren't like, we don't have like little archangels like living inside our chakras. They're just associated with these chakras. I know there are some schools of belief where they believe that there's actually like these divine entities that like actually sit in those energy centers. So, and if that's your school of belief, cool, not here to change your mind. It's just my belief that they are simply associated with these chakras. They don't actually like live in them. Okay. So it's not so much the ray they lead that matches the chakra, right? But what areas they help with and what aspects of divine consciousness they represent. So some archangels associated with the chakras can vary depending on the source, okay? Okay, so the following archangels I associate with each chakra, but don't take it as gospel or rules, okay? Okay, and just because there is quite a bit of information here, so just to reiterate, I will have this information in PDF that I will be uploading to the group should you need to come back for this, or again, you could just watch the class too. But if you just want something that you can just, you know, pop up a PDF and go, oh, there it is, right? Something simple and easy, this will be in that PDF. Okay, so starting with Archangel Michael, you might think that because he leads the ray in the color blue, that he would be associated with the throat chakra, or because the blue ray is the ray of courage and willpower, as well as protection, that it would be associated with the solar plexus chakra. But in fact, Michael is associated with the root chakra, as he aids and supports us with our sense of security, stability, power, strength, and fearlessness. Archangel Ariel, whose name means lion or lioness of God, is associated with the sacral chakra. She is the patron angel of wild animals and is a protector of Earth, specifically through environmentalism. So I like to call her the Archangel of Greenpeace. She has a quote, like Mother Nature type of energy and is very nurturing to all creatures, including humans. She is also known to promote inspired creativity and greater comfort with intimacy. So that's why she is associated with the sacral chakra. And although Archangel Chamuel is the leader of the pink ray of unconditional love and compassion that is associated with the heart chakra, she's associated with the solar plexus chakra because she helps with dissolving feelings of selfishness, self-dislike, self-condemnation, and low self-esteem. Chamuel provides courage, persistence, and determination, and assists us in finding the strength and courage to face adversity. Okay. Archangel Raphael is associated with the heart chakra because although it processes the energies of unconditional love, compassion, forgiveness, and acceptance, it is also our center for healing. Archangel Raphael works with other archangels for healing and transmuting purposes, such as Ariel when healing animals, or Zadkiel when transmuting and integrating shadows. So those shadow aspects, if you're not familiar with those, that's the unconscious aspects of ourselves that we rejected, and that inner child stuff and all the stuff that we reject about ourselves, we shove in the corner of our unconscious, and they are called shadows. Okay, he teaches us that perfect health is when love completely fills our heart, the mind, and the entire body. So you could also, with Chamuel, even though Chamuel is associated with the solar plexus chakra, she's also known to be associated with the heart chakra, in the sense of she helps with the emotional healing, whereas Raphael helps with more the physical healing, or healing like the mental side of things, so such as integrating shadows alongside Archangel Zadkiel. Okay. Archangel Gabriel, being the divine herald, is associated with the throat chakra. She is the patron angel of communication, messengers, and prophecy. Gabriel aids with giving and receiving clear messages and guidance, and speaking truthfully and honestly. She inspires and motivates artists and communicators, helping them to overcome fear and procrastination. She also helps us to purify our thoughts, body, and emotions. Okay. Luna. If she starts banging on the door, I'm gonna have to get up and let her out. Okay, so the Ascended Master and Archangel Metatron. So I refer to him as both because he was formerly the prophet Enoch, who was human, that rose from, is one of two that rose from the Ascended Master level all the way up into Archangel. So yeah, Archangel Metatron is associated with the third eye chakra. He is the archangel of self-mastery and ascension. He is
Locked up.
Sorry? Oh, she froze. I'll give Susan a minute, and I think I will. Oh, there she is. You froze there for a second, Susan. Did you have a question?
No, I was just telling you that you locked up.
Oh, okay. 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 Did you catch what I said about Metatron, or was I frozen for that? Susan?
I'm here now.
No, I was asking, did you catch what I said about Metatron, or was I frozen for that?
No, I wasn't. I was locked out. Metatron,
Okay.
Enoch, and he is what? Throat? No.
Previous to that was Gabriel at the throat chakra.
Got that?
And okay, and then I moved on to Archangel Metatron.
Right.
Okay, so formerly known as the prophet Enoch. Metatron is associated with the third eye chakra. Okay, and is the archangel of self-mastery and ascension. He shares and teaches the practical application of esoteric wisdom and helps with developing and anchoring spiritual gifts. And by spiritual gifts, that means, I take it to mean psychic gifts. He also helps with insight, expanded perspective, and clear thought. And I'm going to take, and we got one more, but my cat will not stop howling, so I'm going to let her out. Okay, you win. Out you go. Go, go, go. Okay. All right. So lastly, we have Archangel Uriel, who is associated with the crown chakra. He is the archangel of prophecy and is considered the, quote, intellectual angel. Uriel rules the mental plane and illuminates our mind with information, ideas, epiphanies, insights, and solutions, and assists us in focusing on intellectual pursuits. He helps us to interpret our inner voice in dreams and guides us towards understanding our essential nature. Uriel is humanity's link to the spiritual realm and connects us to divine wisdom. Okay. Okay. Now I have some that are a little more bullet form, but so I'll try not to tangent too much. So communicating with angels. When communicating with angels, we may think it's a one-sided conversation with ourselves, speaking to them, and them unable to speak back. But in truth, angels are communicating back all the time. So there is a way to kind of have a conversation, like a back and forth with angels. So one of those ways, and I forgot to mention it earlier, I did grab guidance, what is it? Daily guidance from your angels Oracle deck, just to have, like, at the end, I thought it'd be fun to kind of, pull a card and see if what angels have, guidance or insight for us. Maybe it'll resonate, maybe it won't, we'll see. But that number one is tarot and oracles. You can have a conversation with the angels through tarot and oracle, or even a pendulum. I actually didn't, I forgot to put that on here, so I'm going to put that on there right now. Okay, or a pendulum. Okay, with a pendulum and like a board. Okay. Another one is so to go back actually to the tarot oracle and all that. So you can do it in a sense where you have I just lost the word. Yep, I lost it. Spreads, that's the word. So you can do it in a way where you're doing it through a spread, or if you're just kind of doing like a yes or no or what have you, you can just pull cards as they come out. Okay. So next we have numbers, or angel numbers as they're called. These are typically, but not exclusively, repeating numbers. So you might see 111, 222, 333, 777 is a really strong angel number. But they aren't necessarily like that kind of repetitive, but they can speak to you through that. So you might even see, and this is like if you're seeing them often, like if you see, if it just so happens to be, 1:11 in the afternoon, right? And you see that and you're like, cool, right? That could be a message, but it's more like if you see it often, if it's being repeated to you, right? So if you're seeing, 1:11, 5 times throughout that day and you're not looking for it, right? You just happen upon it. You're like, oh, I just noticed that. That's where it can become a message, right? And so you can look up some of the meanings of these numbers. There's lots of resources. You can just Google it. There's lots of resources there that share the meanings, or quote unquote meanings of these. Personally, I like to ask them directly. So I might, tune in and see if I can hear them, or I'll use a tool like a card deck or something to say, what is the meaning of me seeing this number, right? What is the message here? Or even just paying attention to the context of what's happening in your day. So every time you see 1:11 or 222, 333, whatever, or a could be 123, right? What is happening in those moments and how are they similar, to be able to understand the message that they're trying to convey. Okay. And so the next one is psychic abilities. So like I was just saying, you might be able to, because I'm one of my stronger psychic abilities is clairaudience. And so often I will listen, right? I'll just get quiet and listen. But sometimes it's a vision, right? So clairvoyance, clairaudience, might just be a feeling, right? Clairsentience, might have just a knowing, claircognizance, right? So you can communicate that way as well through your psychic abilities. You just have to be really tuned in. Okay. And there's another one here, but I'll mention it now. I have it further down on the list, but I'll mention it now. And along with these psychic abilities, that they can also communicate through dreams. So you may have, quote, psychic dreams, right? Or visions or what have you, and they will come in that way and communicate with you that way. Okay. Another is through miracles. So this could be in an answer to a prayer or a petition. Okay. And I'll get to, in a bit, I'll get to why sometimes it seems as though a prayer is going unanswered. I'll get to that, but that is one way, is through an answered prayer. Okay. And they will also speak through people and situations. Okay. So there's quite often, you'll say something to somebody and they'll just be like, it will be, you personally will have no idea, that this person needed to hear that thing, right? You'll just be like talking, saying a thing, and it'll resonate with that person, right? And I'll be like, oh, I needed to hear that, or I was just thinking about that or praying about that earlier. How odd that you would just happen to mention it, right? And my mom, who is born again Christian, she says I do that to her all the time. There will be things that she'll be praying about, and then I'll come over for a visit and I'll maybe share some guidance with her or something, or I'll be talking about something like a class that I've been teaching or a course I've been teaching, and she'll be like, I was just praying about that exact topic. I needed to hear that, right? Or it'll come through a situation too. So you might get, these nudges through these situations to, maybe you want to go in this direction, right? Maybe you want to go over here, or maybe you should stop what you're doing. It's not, that's harmful, right? And sometimes they're subtle. And if you're really not listening, if you're just not getting it, then they get a little more forceful, right? You might get that like little push, make it a poke and then a push, and then wham. If you're really not getting it, you'll get hit with that sort of train, if you will. That's just like, and now chances are you're probably in a really shitty situation because you just weren't getting the message. And this was the only way you were going to get it, is if you got smucked upside the head. Okay. So that's also ways that angels will communicate. And also matching resonance. This one's a really big one. So if you're intentionally looking to communicate with the angels, whether it's your guardian angel or your guiding angel, an archangel, what have you, right? In order to really have that kind of back and forth conversation, it's important that you match their resonance. And I understand that as a human being, we're not necessarily able to match the resonance of an archangel, right? But they speak in a certain vibrational energy. And I'll get into that in a little bit, but it's really along that bliss type of feeling. So you really want to cultivate an energy of as much as you can, or if you've never felt bliss, what you imagine bliss would feel like, okay? Or higher levels of unconditional love as well. So anything that's unconditional love, joy, bliss, any of those higher vibrations, that's where you're going to match their frequency or their resonance as best as a human can, right? And so that's another way. And they will also communicate back by kind of, not, I mean this in a good way, but kind of like imposing that energy on you. Like you'll feel that energy, you'll pick up on that, like an empath, right? You'll pick up on that energy. Okay, so another one, and I'll get to more of this later, is ritual, invocation, or petitioning. Okay, so you can also communicate with them in that way, and I will be getting into that in detail in a little bit. You can also communicate with them via meditation. So this can be with that matching resonance, or just in meditation where you're just being open and receptive, okay? And when you do that, you will get, that's one of the easiest ways for them to communicate with us, especially if we're looking for some kind of guidance or inspiration or motivation, is through meditation, when we're intentionally open and receptive. And this is where you're going to get your ahas and your inspiration and your, you might, even if you're not actually intending to communicate with an angel, you might just be in the idea of like, previous to meditation, you might think, I want to write a book, but I have no idea on what. And then you go and meditate, and all of a sudden you have this great idea for a book, right? It comes through like that. Okay, in dreams, as I mentioned, sometimes they will leave gifts, such as feathers and coins. And like I was saying before about talking through people or situations, they'll also bring in animals. So you might find that, especially if they're there, because one of the things that angels do is they come in your, when you're in need, or like if you're suffering, right? So let's say, as an example, say you're really grieving, and maybe you're sitting on your steps or something, and you're outside, and maybe you're in an energy of grief, and all of a sudden, maybe a cat or a dog just happens to wander up, and and they're like, hey, hello friend, let me pet, let me come up and get on your lap, or let you pet me and rub my belly or whatever, right? That's an angel's way of comforting you in your time of need, right? Or sometimes they send you it like a gift, right? So you might, like with the two kittens that my sister and I have, these kittens they just happened to, it's the wildest story. These, like, they were about 2 or 3 weeks old, and they're these two kittens that they were in the yard, like they were placed there. They were not dirty. They were not, they had no bugs, nothing. It was just like they were just poof, placed there, and came into our lives that way, right? And they're here to, obviously we're here to take care of them as well, but you could see that as a gift from angels, if you will, that they just gifted us these two angels, because we had just lost, both of us have recently lost female, like senior female cats that were just like, they're like our babies, right? They were like our children. Neither of us have actually had like human babies, but we love our cats. And we had lost ours. So I had lost my kitty Misty, and then she had lost her kitty Meow. That was her actual name, Meow. And then a few months later, when we were ready to receive them, we were gifted these kittens. So I believe those were gifts from angels, to again help us with healing our hearts, and being comfort to us, as well as us being able to obviously take care of these animals as best. They're spoiled. Let's just put it that way. They're spoiled. And I named one of them Castiel, after an angel in the TV show Supernatural. So they can send animals as either to come and comfort you, or to heal your heart, or as pets, as gifts, right? Or even like maybe even putting out into the universe, trying to manifest. I'm looking for this specific breed of cat or dog or what have you, and then all of a sudden, like a miracle, here you go, right? At the perfect time, you're gifted the perfect pet for you, right? So that can also be communication and a gift from angels. Okay, and then the last that I have on this list, you may be guided to books and other sources of info. So you might, somebody might suggest a book to you, or it could be something where you're just scrolling through and happen upon, a book, or like I have a whole bookshelf here, and if an angel was trying to get a message across to me, maybe they, pull that book out and drop it on the floor or something, and maybe even open it to a specific page. A lot of people who read the Bible will have that. They'll just open the book. They'll just open the Bible and go to wherever their eye, goes to, and they'll read from there, right? So there's that as well. Or in this case, it might even be, you might have been guided to this class. So, okay. Oh boy, I'm starting to go over. Oh dear. Okay, I'm going to try and keep it quick, but I still got lots to go here. Okay, this is point form. Signs of angels in your presence. So A warm, comfy, gentle breeze out of nowhere or with no source. You feel or see a warm glow in the room around you. The smell of summer or flowers or sweet myrrh. Hearing an ethereal sound or music. A deep feeling of unconditional love and peace. Colored lights or, quote, orbs appearing out of nowhere and dancing around you. A warm, gentle hand touching your shoulder. During meditation, you suddenly taste something sweet. And lastly, miracles, but in the unexpected kind of miracle. So they may appear as mere coincidence. Okay. Okay, and we're getting around to the end. This is kind of the last, but it's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm going to try and get through it. Do we have any questions before I get right onto this last one? I'm running out of water. Oh dear. Okay. Questions? Okay. Okay, invoking angels. So when it comes to invoking angels, truly all you need to do is ask sincerely and be receptive. Like, you really don't need anything more than that. I'll be going into some details here, but that's really the basis of it. So basically, don't be a dick, right? Don't be a dick or have rules for when or how they should respond, okay? So, so no, right here, right now, right? In this way, send me a coin, send me a feather right now, right? Don't do that. They will not respond to that, okay? With that said, okay, I do have a personal story that contradicts this, okay? So the thing was, I was sincere and receptive, but I was also kind of a dick, and placed rules of prove yourself and right now on the situation. So I have shared this. I have shared this before, but I feel it's important to share it again here for anyone who hasn't heard it. Before I do, though, trigger warning for severe depression and thoughts of suicide. Okay, I'll try to keep this, quick and concise, but if that's something you can't hear right now, maybe now is the time to go get some water or go get a snack. I'll try to keep it quick though. Or if you're watching this on the replay, maybe just skip ahead a little bit. Okay, so like I said, I've mentioned this before, but I was going through what we would call a dark night of the soul. And I was at a point where I was done, like, living. I was done with life. It was getting too hard, and I was feeling disconnected and just like, hopeless, and like all of that, like that really heavy, severe depression, right? And at that point, and I'm someone who really needs to have something to believe in. And at that point, I had kind of lost that because I was feeling that disconnect, right? That crown chakra was blocked, and I just felt completely disconnected from source. And so I went into, like, I felt like there was no point to life, right? I was like, there's no source, there's no plan, it's just chaos, and then you die, right? Why would I put myself through all that pain? Because at the time, I was going through a great deal of pain. And I thought, why would I continue to put myself through this if there's no reason for it? And so I got to a point where I was like, I'm done. Why would I continue to torture myself? And why would I continue living with this, when there's nothing, right? There's no God, there's no heaven, there's no hell, there's nothing. It's just black. You die and there's black, there's nothing, right? Why continue in this energy? So at that point, I was very much like I got into a point where I was like, I'm suicidal, like I'm done, like done. And So I thought, okay, you know what? I'm angry now, right? I went from being like, just crying and heartbroken and, having this feeling of grief and hopelessness to now I'm pissed, right? And so that's where this part comes in where I kind of am a dick and I put rules on things. I'm like, show yourself now. And so that's what I did. I was sitting on my bed and I was crying, but like angry tears where I was really mad. And I had said just out loud at that point, I did not care who showed up. I just wanted someone to show up. And I said, show yourself, prove yourself. Like, I can't live if there's nothing, right? There's no point in suffering if there's nothing. So show yourself. I don't care if you're an angel, a demon, Jesus, the devil himself. I genuinely don't care at this point. I just need to know there is something else. And so I put that out. And so that's where like there's that sincereness and a receptiveness, but I was also pissed, right? But I was like, you need to show yourself. Like, I'm open, right? Open door, let's go, right? I don't care who shows up, somebody just show up. Otherwise, I'm out of here, right? I had a plan, I'm out, I'm done. And in that moment, sure enough, I know it sounds like BS, but it is not. There, in fact, a white light, and I mean filled up the room, a portal opened up, a white light opened up, and a masculine energy, a male entity, or looked like a male, came through, and just sat on the bed with me, put his arms around me, and I physically felt this. And so I leaned into him. I kind of put my head on his shoulder, and like the shoulder and like the chest area, and I just sobbed. I cried and cried and cried and cried, like just all of it, all of that pain. I just cried and cried and cried, and I don't know how long I sat there, just sobbing, like ugly crying into this being's, what physical being, or what they could make of a physical being anyways. I just cried and cried and cried, and then kind of cried myself out, got to a point where I just like, it's like the angel, it's like Gabriel, right? Where it was just this purifying energy, right? And I don't know for sure, to this day, I don't know what angel or entity this was, but it just kind of purified me. So you could say it was Gabriel, but who knows? And it just let me cry and cry and cry. It could have been Raphael or Chamuel helping me heal. I don't know, but I just cried to the point that I felt purified, where that pain was just like released, that all that pain had been released. And then so he kind of checked in on me and was like, are you okay? Right? Like, are you ready? Kind of deal. And I was like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay now. He's like, like, you're good, right? Like, you're good. You're not going to do anything. You're not going to hurt yourself, kind of deal. And I was like, no, I'm good. And so he was like, okay. And so I kind of sat back up, and he got up and just walked back into the white light portal that was still open, but he walked back through it, and then it closed back up. And I was just bliss. I mean, that's the only way I can describe it. It's just pure bliss. And I was just, that was it. Like, that was like part of the ascension or awakening process for me, because now I had actual proof, for one thing. But I also just, like, my entire being had just been cleansed, right? So I was on cloud 9 at that point, and just like, whew, and and I do have bipolar, so I've had moments of like low grade depression, but I understand what it is, and I just kind of ride it out. It's not something where it's ever serious. It's never been that serious ever again. And I'm on medication now, so it's fine. But so there is that story, though, of a time where I kind of went against the don't be a dick rule. But in this case, there was a sincere need and cry for life-saving help. And angels are dedicated to the law of free will, so they will only step in when asked, either in the moment or an agreement was made pre-incarnation. Okay. So my ask was more of a threat, but it was sincere and I was receptive. I wanted someone to show up. Okay. And so now I had mentioned this earlier, so we're going to get into this. And I know I'm super, super over. I really was hoping I could get this done in an hour and a half, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay. Unless does anybody need to go? I do have a little bit here. We're getting close to the end though. Are we still good? Okay, I'm out of water. Okay, I'm going to try my very best. I should have made this 2 hours. I'm so sorry. Okay. Okay, so for those feeling triggered by their asks seemingly going unheard or on behalf of others, if an agreement or a contract was made pre-incarnation for angels to not step in certain situations, even if you ask for help in a current incarnation, the angels must respect that agreement / contract. So, for example, let's say you ask your guardian angels to step in and save you from dying in an accident, but not in any other life-threatening situation. Okay? Or to save you in any life-threatening situation, with the exception of taking your own life. Just as an example. Okay, so these agreements or contracts aren't just put in place for life-threatening situations. They can be for anything, okay? And they can be timed too. So you can have an agreement that no matter what, angels cannot help you achieve a specific goal until a certain age in your physical incarnation or a specific incarnation, okay? They can't help you in this life, but they can in the next, just as an example, okay? The reason you would do this is through the, pardon me, the reason you would do this is through the wisdom, clear vision, and plan of your higher self. Okay, so your ego might be going, why would I do that? But the higher self knows better, okay? And has a plan, knows what it's doing, so. Okay, so I also feel it's important to be clear that angels work with us, not for us, okay? They also do not want to be worshipped in any way. They help us and work with us because they love us deeply and unconditionally. You might say their, quote, love language is acts of service. They respond best to heart chakra energy, meaning an open and receptive heart from a place of sincerity, compassion, and love. They also resonate with the higher energies of joy, bliss, and deep peace. Okay, and this one is another kind of bullet point, so we'll get through this one quick. For those that are into, so this is invoking angels with crystals and stones. So for those of you who are into crystals and stones, these are some that resonate with the angelic realm that you may like to work with, specifically during meditation and or keep on you. So we have selenite, attracts angelic energy into your life. Angelite, petalite, angel aura quartz, and celestite gently attune you to the angelic realm. Both can facilitate conscious contact with the angelic realm. Phenacite and pink muscovite are effective for making contact with angels. Light green serpentine, also called infinite stone, brings you into contact with angelic guidance. And tanzanite links to the angelic realm, spirit guides, and the ascended masters. It's also, it also downloads information from the Akashic records. Okay, so I can, if you'd like, because I know I'm super, super over, I can just end it there. Or if you're interested, I have my ritual for invoking angels. There's a few steps there. And if you're like, you know what, you've gone way too far, that's too much time, I do have it in the PDF for those who are interested, but if you want to hear about it, let me know. If you're like, it should be done in a few minutes. This will be the last of it. So do you want me to finish up here, or do you want to stop with the stones?
Why don't you keep going? For me, keep going.
Okay, great. Okay, and this will be
I told you so.
Okay. So this will be the end of it. There are some steps here. So when when working a spell or as part of my angel therapy sessions, I do use ritual for protection and aiding specific works. Okay, so the first step, I start by facing north, then turning clockwise as I call on each archangel of the 4 cardinal points. Okay. So I will say, and you don't have to use this, but this is what I say. I call on Archangel Uriel, guardian of the north, and the element earth. Okay, and then I would turn a quarter. I call on Archangel Raphael, guardian of the east, and the element air. Then I turn another quarter. I call on the Archangel Michael, guardian of the south, and the element fire. And then turn again. I call Archangel Gabriel, guardian of the west, and the element of water. And then from there, I usually turn back to north or whatever direction my
Altar.
why did I just lose the word? Because I've been talking too long, that's why.
You have an altar up?
Thank you. Whatever direction my altar is in, I will turn to that. Okay. Step 2, from there, I create a circle of protection and purify my space so that I can safely work my spell. So we want to make sure that no, negative, psychic attacks or negative entities can come into my space, right? Clearing all that out. Same with stagnant energy as well. I didn't mention this in the notes, but you want to make sure that stagnant or residual energy is cleared up from that space before you really start, really get going. Okay. So we want to purify the space. So I do this by pulling up 4 sections of white light from the crystalline core of the earth. I do this by using my athame, but you can also use what's called your power finger. So for some, that will be your index finger or your middle finger. Okay. So I pull that up and over to create an energetic dome. So, and I do this from going to the 4 corners. It's not necessarily the cardinal directions like north, east, southwest, right? So I'll go from the corners of the room for me. So, and that doesn't go with like north, south, east, and west. So I'll go up and over this way, up and over this way, right? So on and so forth, okay? To create this energetic dome. So I pull these sections up from the direction of the corners in the room rather than the 4 cardinal points. Okay, so I call them sections. Some people call them pillars or what have you, but to create a dome, okay. Next, I open a doorway into the angelic realm, creating a higher vibrational frequency. I do this by cultivating and holding on to the higher vibrational energies of love, bliss, and peace, because these are the frequency of the angels. And visualizing golden energy coming down from the top of the dome I created in the previous step and filling the space. So we're going to open up that doorway to the angelic realm. Okay, from here, I'll call on a specific angel or archangel or angels, right, plural, to help me with a specific task. And then next, to help focus my mind and energy, I'll use an archangel's, if I'm calling on an archangel anyways, I will use an archangel's astrological sigil and or light a colored candle or candles representing the angelic rays. Okay, so if I wanted to work a protection spell and I call on Archangel Michael, I would use his astrological sigil, and then light a blue candle. Okay. Where was I?
Using the sigil. Quick question: if you're going to use a sigil, are you just making the symbol in the air? Or
Yeah, you can do it
writing
in.
down, or?
Now, because I'm a artsy fartsy and visual person, so I actually have paintings that I made, and I'll use those. But you can just do it in the air or in your mind. So for those who are familiar with Reiki and the Reiki symbols, right, you can use them in that sort of same way, where you can do it with your finger, the palm of your hand, do it in your mind, or like me, if you have like a little, you can draw it on a piece of paper, whatever, right? Yeah. Okay, where was I? Okay, so the rays I'll be working with. So I may also use additional tools such as incense or essential oils, herbs, pictures, paper, crystals and stones, string, etc., depending on the spell. When the work is done, I give deep gratitude to the archangel or angels or angel that aided me in the spell, and I bid them farewell. Saying, I thank you, blank, for your aid in this, healing or manifesting or blessing, etc. This matter. Go if you must, please stay if you will, blessed be. Okay, next. So now we're kind of going in reverse, right? Once the spell is complete, we kind of do things in reverse. So next, I visualize the golden light going back up, closing at the top of the white light dome. Then I bring the white light dome down, pulling the sections down with my athame, or you can use your finger, in the directions I pulled them up in, okay? Lastly, I bid farewell to the archangels of the 4 cardinal points and elements. And again, we're gonna do this in reverse. So when we went clockwise, and we ended with Gabriel, and now we're going to go counterclockwise, starting with Gabriel. Okay, so beginning with Gabriel in the west and turning counterclockwise to end with Uriel in the north. Okay, come on, there we go. So I'll say, I thank you, Archangel Gabriel, guardian of the west and the element water, for your protection and aid in this matter. Go if you must, please stay if you will, blessed be. And so on, right? For each archangel. Okay, so you go in that direction. And that's it. That was it. The end. I know, I went almost 2 hours instead of 90 minutes, but like I said, that was honestly tip of the iceberg. There was so much more. So if you want more, let me know, and I will, like I said, I will put it in some kind of, I'll either make separate YouTube videos, or I can do blogs, I can make a whole ass course, maybe do more classes that aren't 2 hours long. But yeah, if you want to know more, let me know, and I will do more of these. I'm going to start to lose my
This was fun.
Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I certainly hope you have found it helpful with all that information.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So I was thinking, you can see that, I got a new wand. It has a dragon on it. So I can see going to the right and going to the left. And
yeah, so you could do that too. So I use an athame, or like I said, you can use your finger, or you can certainly use a wand for sure. I would suggest, and this is only a suggestion, but if you're into wands, I would probably use either one of the angel stones that I mentioned there, or a clear quartz crystal, if you're for pulling that stuff up. Or like some people, they just have like a wooden, they have like a, what is that called, like a stick, like a wooden type of wand that doesn't have like a tip on it. Mine has both. Mine was gifted to me by somebody, and so they made it out of a stick, but the point, they have a clear quartz crystal on it. So we have that one too, to kind of help bring that up and direct that energy. And it has a point on it, like there's a clear quartz, but then it has a point, so that way it helps to direct your energy where you want it to go. Yeah.
I think mine's just a wood tip, but this is fast. You should put this in a little book.
Yeah,
You've written
well,
a
I mean,
book before.
the PDF is like a little book, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
But I will mention too, actually, since you mentioned it, if you're looking for a little bit more information on specific angels, because like I said, this is tip of the iceberg. So I really kind of tried to keep it as best I could in like a point, like a bullet point format. But in my book, The Sevenfold Chakra System, I do mention the archangels that are associated with those chakras, but there's more information about them in the book. But yeah, certainly if, and that's another format too, if people want me to, write an actual book on just the angels, I can do that. Trust me, I can get that done. So, and I mean, this was, in my Word document, this came out to 13 pages of just this. And then in the PDF format, it comes out to like 17. So
Oh, wow.
trust me when I say I could literally write a book about angels. Okay.
Fun.
But yes, so this being 2 hours long, or at least near anyways, and I'm about to lose my voice because I've run out of water. I will wrap it up here. So like I said, this will be available as a replay. And there's also these notes. It's not as detailed, but I try to keep them bullet point in the PDF. So that will be available to you as well. That will be uploaded in the group. And should you have any additional questions for those who are watching the replay, or Susan, if something comes up and you want to, if you have questions or comments or whatever, leave that in the group and I will get back to you.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot of information to process.
Yes, I was so worried that it was going to be information overload, and I'm like, this isn't even all of it. So yeah, so maybe I should write a book. But okay, so I will, because I respect your time, and I'm so sorry I went over so much, but thank you so much for being here, and I sincerely hope this was helpful. And I will see you in the group.
Namaste.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Okay, bye.